snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, I am here today to do a series review, which is quite exciting. It is this series, which is called the Finishing School series, and it's written by Gail Carriger. There are 4 books in the series, as you can see. The first one is Etiquette and Espionage. The next one is Curtsies and Conspiracies. The third one is Waistcoats and Weaponry. And the fourth one is Manners and Mutiny. So, I read all of these over the last month or so, and I've been really enjoying them. I mean, I really like Gail Carriger, and this is kind of a prequel series to her other series, The Parasol Protectorate, so it is set a good few years before that, and we do see some characters in this series who then become characters in Parasol Protectorate later on, so that's a really cool element of the series. I would say you can read these without having read The Parasol Protectorate. You aren't going to spoil yourself, but there are some crossovers, as I say, so just bear that in mind. I would definitely say you can easily start with this series. It is intended as a prequel, as I say, so it's up to you where you want to start. Just do not start with the Custard Protocol series, because that series continues on after Parasol Protectorate and will spoil you, so only start with Parasol Protectorate or Finishing School. Right, now that I've said that, let's get into what all of this is about. It is a YA series, so it's not an adult one, which her other series are, so it's a good start point if you haven't really read steampunk before. I would class her books as kind of a steampunk romance crossover. I think she does both of those very well. But for me, the highlight of all Gail Carriger's books is the names of the characters and the characters themselves, because she comes up with absolutely batty names, which are highly amusing and really whimsical and really witty. And I just love that. I just love that about her and her characters. And in this story, we follow a young girl who goes off to a finishing school because she's kind of a rebel child. She likes to sort of get her own way. She likes to muck around in the dirt. She doesn't really like to conform to what she should be in this day and age. And that character is called Sophronia. So in book 1, Sophronia goes to this finishing school that she's never heard of. Her family sent her there because a family friend knew of it. And she's kind of a bit annoyed because she doesn't really want to go and learn to be a proper lady. She wants to just carry on doing what she does best, which is kind of just doing her own thing. On the way to the finishing school, she meets a couple of people who are going there too, and they get stopped by flywaymen who are essentially bandits, and they get raided, and she realizes that this school has a lot more going on than just what appears to meet the eye at first. It's not just a finishing school, it's definitely something more, and she realizes that actually this is a place where they train you to be assassins as well as ladies, which is quite a mix of things. Deadly and beautiful all at once. I definitely really enjoyed the first book in the series. It was a very easy way to get into the series. It felt like it was just a lot of fun throughout. We get some great characters being introduced, and we see that Sophronia quickly makes friends with a couple of other girls. They all kind of band together and they have a great time throughout all 4 of the books, being great friends and coming up with crazy schemes to help whatever incidents are coming their way. We also get to see Bunsen's, which is the boys' school, and the boys' school is also for creating evil geniuses, so it's definitely not quite a finishing school or just a boarding school. It's a little bit more than that. So the 2 of these schools kind of have a little bit of rivalry, a bit of competition, but they also use each other for training. So the ladies and the gents will perhaps try dancing together or something like that. So they kind of practice on each other as well. Not necessarily the assassin techniques, but definitely like subterfuge and lies and things like that. They do practice on each other. So that was quite a funny blend to see the ladies and the gents kind of coming together and doing their own thing. The thing I most enjoy about this series is that it is really light. It's really easy to get through every single one of the books in this, and I think they're all a lot of fun. There's always something exciting happening. There's always something that is quite joyous and quite merry. Even when they're in trouble, it's still quite a light-hearted book, and all of the trouble that they get into is usually quite funny to read about. They have all these different bands of people who are like roaming around doing different things, kind of trying to manipulate people in this world to their way of thinking, and a lot of the series focuses on that as the problem. And I just think it's really funny. Like, for example, one of their enemies is called the Pickleman, and I just think that's great. But there are a lot of fantastic names within this and fantastic whimsical moments that I really, really enjoyed. So I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars overall. Really likeable, really easy beginning to the story. The next one I think was probably my favourite out of the series. I definitely enjoyed this one a lot. And again, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. So I would say that it's a very easy read, and it kind of builds a little bit on what the first one developed. We see the setup a lot in book 1, and then book 2 we get to see a lot more detail, and we get to see a lot more intrigue, and we also meet some other characters like the Sooties and people who go to Bunsen's and some of the teachers in more detail, which is really, really good and kind of just continues to develop the world as a whole. So I really like this one, and I gave it 4 stars. The third one I did definitely enjoy, but there is a section in this book that I felt was a little bit slow. I still gave it a 4 stars because I still really enjoyed it, but I do think that this one wasn't quite as top-notch as the second one for me. I think it was a lower 4 stars. It was still really enjoyable. As you can see on the front of this, she has a bladed fan, which, let me just say, I think that is like the coolest thing ever, and I would love one were I an assassin, which I'm not. I think it's a really cool weapon, and I just think she looks very poised and elegant with her bladed fan there, so very, very cool. Definitely my weapon of choice, I think. The final one I actually ended up giving a 3.5. That's not to say that this is a bad one, I just felt the ending was a little bit rushed and I would have liked a little bit more development there. Still, I think it's a fantastic overall series, and I think the ending did kind of bring a lot of strings together. I think I would have liked a bit more of an expansion on it, but I think it did finish off a lot of things, and we get to see a lot of conclusions come together, storylines come together, and it does feed this story into the Parasol Protectorate as well, which is really, really cool. So I definitely enjoyed this as well, and I would recommend the whole series. I'd love to hear if you guys have read any Gail Carriger. Have you read the Finishing School series, the Parasol Protectorate? Let me know down below. I'm very excited to read her novellas now. I think the novellas are the ones I haven't read yet by her, and she's doing a novella series at the moment. I'll try and find a picture if I can, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.